Hello, here we are again. Today we are going to tell you about our trip to Yellowstone for the first time ever. And it was pretty awesome. We were traveling with our family, including a little baby. And we were kind of limited. Oh, you were so happy, right? Kind of limited to family-friendly hikes. So we thought we would focus this video on family-friendly hikes. So none of these are particularly long. And any of the ones that have a little bit of distance to them are basically on boardwalks or really well-paved roadways where you could push a carriage. So we're going to give you our thoughts on each of them. And while we're talking on the screen, we'll give you the distances that we traveled in each of them. And you can decide which ones work for you. And the other thing I'll say is, this is our first trip to Yellowstone. Some people have gone there literally hundreds of times. We didn't see everything. Some things were closed. There was some geothermal activity that closed some parts. We were in and out of the park over 8 days, but we still didn't see everything. It's humongous. There's a lot to do. Like I said, some things were closed. We had roads closed. These are 10 ideas. We're not saying they're the best 10 or the only 10. They're just 10 ideas that work for families. All right, so Jackie's going to tell you about the first place we visited, which was kind of iconic.
The Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. And we went to the South Rim, which is where Artist Point is, and you can get a very good picture of the lower falls from Artist Point.
The walkway around there, you get just beautiful views of the canyon too.
Yeah, and very easy to walk with a baby, and yeah.
So that's the first one on our list, and it's probably one of the most important ones you should do, but there's some more coming that are way up there too in priority. The next one I'm going to share with you is a place called Moose Falls. Moose Falls is right off the side of the roadway. It's kind of unassuming. There's a small parking area. It's really not even that well advertised. You just basically walk down the side of the road, take a very short trail, and it's this beautiful babbling brook that goes, maybe a tenth of a mile to a fall. And the waterfalls you can see from the top. And then if you walk down another path that sort of winds around the back, you get a beautiful view of Moose Falls themselves. And it's really pretty. You probably can't take a stroller down to the bottom of the falls, but you certainly can at the top. And you could carry little ones down to the bottom to show them the view if you wanted to. It's pretty short.
The third one I think we'd like to mention is Mammoth Hot Springs. That is it just reminds me of a snow-covered mountain, but it's actually like travertine. That is a 2.2-mile hike.
Right, and that's only if you choose to do the whole piece of it. It's all boardwalk. And if you do the whole piece, there's some stairs to climb. But there's the option to just do the lower portion, which is, I think, the most magnificent part of it.
Yeah, it really is. What's interesting about that place too is people used to put things in there so that it would get covered in the travertine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Special objects.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's so different. It's almost like you're in an alien place,
yeah.
Right. And we don't understand the science of why it happened here the way it did, but it's still magnificent.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google all these places that we're mentioning and get a lot of better background about all these different locations in Yellowstone.
The next area is West Thumb, which is something we didn't know much about. We just kind of went there based off of a recommendation, and really happy that we did. Lots of beautiful pools there and springs. One called the Abyss, which is like the most beautiful blue body of water. It looks like super enticing to go in, but we heard stories about people that actually went in there and ended up killing them pretty quickly due to the chemicals that are inside these pools. So that's one tip through all of this stuff is stay on the trails. There's signs everywhere that tell you this, but there's stories about people walking across and falling through a crevice and dying that way too, or being burned really badly. But anyway, West Thumb, beautiful. And you also walk around the lake. There's a bunch of little geysers there. One called Fishing Cone, where people would actually catch fish and cook their fish over the top of the cone back in the day. So a pretty neat walk.
Yeah, and it's not a long walk either. It's pretty short and tons to see on it.
Yes. All right, you got the next one.
So the next one would, of course, be Old Faithful. And the nice thing about this is there's a great visitor center. You walk in there first, and up on their board, they'll have the times that Old Faithful is going to go off.
Why is it called Old Faithful?
Because it's reliably will go off at the times that
It was. I forget what time they said. Like, say it was 1:17 when we were there. It erupted at 1:17.
Yeah.
It was exactly on time.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yeah. So, you can walk all the way around Old Faithful and watch it from the back of it, or they have benches and, a viewing area, a very large viewing area you can see from the front. And then, of course, after you get to see that magnificent eruption, you can walk more down. There are other trails down past Old Faithful.
Yeah, and even in the back of, if you do the loop right around Old Faithful, there's a couple of cool little pond or pools there. One that they showed us some animal bones when some animal must have fallen in there and died. The trail past Old Faithful has a bunch of geysers on it. Some are super famous ones you've heard of before. But all depends on the amount of time and energy you want to expend, because some of them don't erupt on a schedule. There's one called Roaring Geyser that does, and it's named appropriately, right? It sounds like it's roaring as it goes off. We did walk down and see that. It was about a mile past Old Faithful, and then a little bit past there
was Morning Glory, and that was beautiful. So we haven't been to the one you all know about yet, the Grand Prismatic, but this one, I was like, gosh, if this is so pretty, I can't believe Grand Prismatic's going to be even better than this.
Yeah, it was stunning. Worth the walk, but again, just in full disclosure, by that point in time you get there, you're maybe 2 miles out from your car and you've still got to walk the way back. So it's a little bit of effort. And as Jackie sort of teed up, Grand Prismatic Spring. That's the famous one. You see the pictures everywhere. Unfortunately for us, the day we were there, it was about 0 degrees out, Celsius. It was in the 30s. And there was so much steam coming out of the Grand Prismatic Spring that it was kind of hard to get the real beauty of it. But you still saw enough to know it was a pretty special place.
Yeah, and you can literally walk around it, right next to it. But where we got the great picture was you can go to the upper part, and there's like an overlook up there, and that's where we actually got to see the beautiful colors that you're seeing in our pictures.
Right, yeah, great point. So the boardwalk, easy, and it actually takes you past two really neat geothermal features as well. Great view of all of those. But if you really want the iconic picture, you've got to walk up the Overlook Trail, which again is a longer hike and a little bit more challenging, but it's still, I think it's worth it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It's a view you'll never forget.
Yes. Another recommended family hike would be the Artist Paint Pots. This is a pretty easy hike up. It's not flat, but it's pretty easy to hike it up. And once you're up there, you're going to be looking down at pretty flat land, but all of these different paint pots are almost different colors, which I assume is how it got its name.
Like a painter's palette or something. And there's mud, like some mud volcano action up at the top too. Yes, it's pretty cool. And it's, again, a pretty easy hike. And if you don't want to take the hill on, you'll miss the mud feature, but you'll still be able to see up close, see a lot of the other cool items there. All right, this next one is the easiest hike you will ever do in your life. It is how long?
400 feet.
It's to Petrified Tree. And when you get there, there is one solitary petrified tree there. But the cool thing about it is it's 50 million years old. So pretty wild. It does look very much like the stump of a tree. Do you remember what kind of tree it was?
Redwood, maybe?
There you go. I think you're right. I think at that time, 50 million years ago, redwood trees were growing in that area. I think you're right.
Mud volcanoes. That was a fairly long hike, especially when you are in the midst of a bison crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to take this whole entire hike, so I was like, I think I'm going to turn around and go back, and you all can keep going. So I turned around and go back with two of our kids, and all of a sudden, when we walked up, there was literally one bison in that field.
Yep.
And then when we turned around to go back, they were just coming out of the woods like crazy.
Yeah. You got hung up there for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got to do the long walk.
Yeah.
But there is an option to do the short boardwalk, and there's again a bunch of really cool features there, including mud volcanoes. There's that really loud one. What was it called?
Dragon's Mouth Spring.
Pretty cool things to see there, and you can either take the short walk, the long walk, or if the bisons tell you you're going to take the long walk, you'll be forced to take the long walk.
It was just a cool addition to that.
Yes. The memory you'll never forget,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. If you're so lucky, that would be great to see.
Great way to be detoured and delayed, watching bison cross by for 45 minutes or whatever. We saved my favorite for last on our list, and that was called fainting goats. No, it's called Fountain Paint Pots. Fountain Paint Pots is a half-a-mile trail, but it is loaded with really cool features. It's the only spot in Yellowstone that has all four of the different kind of geothermal activity that's featured there. Those are fumaroles, mud pots, geysers, and hot springs. And they're all like one after the other. You get to see how different they are and how they compare to each other. And they're beautiful and stunning and amazing. And it's just a quick, easy path. So that is one that I would say should be number one on your list, even before Old Faithful and Grand Prismatic. But you don't agree with that. Well, you got plenty of options. There's 10 options for you to go through. Our 10 easy, family-friendly hikes in Yellowstone, and then a couple other really quick tips for family-friendly type of tips. You can, just as you're driving, you'll see a couple things along the way where you can just hop out of your car and get a pretty quick look at something.
So two of the things are chocolate pots and sulfur springs.
Yeah.
And speaking of sulfur, I think you smell that the entire time you're in Yellowstone.
That is true. Wow, and it's not an awesome odor.
It is not.
Right. Sulfur Springs, though, it's like supercharged.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it bothered some people how strong it was there. Right? But those are just on the side of the road. And then two other things you can do that don't require hiking. Drive through two of the valleys there. The Hayden Valley and the Lamar Valley, they're both super famous and popular for wildlife viewing. And there's really no guarantee what you're going to see on a specific day. But just to tease you a little bit, check back to our next video where we're going to go through the wildlife we saw and the best places we spotted each of the different species that we saw. And we saw a lot. We saw, I think, like 10 or 12 species we'd never seen before in our lives. So it's a pretty cool place for wildlife as well. All right, so I think that's it for this video.
It is.
All right, do you want to say goodbye this time?
We'll both say goodbye.
Well, you got to first tell them to subscribe and all that.
Okay, well, I think you just did that.
All right, ciao.
See ya.